Hi everyone, I'm Lionel from National University of Singapore. Today I'll be giving you an overview of Singapore's coral reef restoration efforts. Singapore has grown a lot over the past 60 years, economically and in terms of the population. Our waters are very busy. We are one of the busiest shipping hubs. And if you look at the map on the right, you'll see that the dark brown is its original area in 1953, and as the years pass, you see that land reclamation has added even more land. Specifically, more than 20% of land has been added. And so what does this mean for Singapore's reefs? Naturally, there will be impacts. All these human activities, they generate sedimentation, too much of which is bad for corals because sediment can smother corals. It also creates a lot of turbidity in the waters, and so visibility is bad, on average about 2 meters visibility, which I've come to understand is what you expect in parts of Genting after a typhoon. And so because of the low light environment, our coral reefs, which used to extend down to 10 meters depth, they now only extend up to a 6 or 7 meters depth, so shallower, more compressed. Our reef is also unstable, with coral larvae that might settle on the rubble. They are at risk of dying because the rubble can move around. And so this means that we have lost quite a lot of reef area over the years, more than 60% in fact. So people always ask, is there a point doing restoration in Singapore? We say yes, because despite all these impacts, we still have high biodiversity. We have between 250 to 270 recorded species of hard corals in Singapore. Our reefs have also withstood bleaching in 1998, 2010, 2016, and 2024, and they're still around. And every year, there's still mass spawning going on around Easter. And so, reef restoration is a necessary step to help these reefs maintain their important ecosystem functions. And so, in Singapore, to do reef restoration involves overcoming two problems. One would be the unstable substrate, and the other would be the high sedimentation. And therefore, two main approaches. The first is a more physical one, where we improve the quality of the reef substrate. A second one would be to directly increase coral cover by transplanting corals at certain sites. So let's look at the first one. In the early 2000s, we developed this flower pot-shaped artificial reef. And so within a year after they've been deployed, we start seeing coral recruits on them. 10 years after their deployment, the corals on them have become sexually mature. They're able to contribute genetic material to seed other reefs. They're also contributing important services to other reef organisms. So in all, we have recorded at least 120 taxa using these structures. Over time, as we monitored these artificial reefs, they begin to resemble more and more like a reef. And our main point in showing this is that reef restoration takes time. You don't see results in just a few months or 1 or 2 years. You need a lot of commitment and resources to see it through. Second approach would be to rear corals and transplant them. At the St. John's Island National Marine Lab, we can use the facilities to do sexual propagation and also asexual propagation. For sexual propagation, we have also brought up adult colonies, gotten them to spawn. For asexual reproduction, we cut pieces of them and stick them onto substrates, which we then track over time. We now are rearing them vertically, and instead of and also using toy bricks and having toy bricks at different levels. As the corals grow, you just need to add more bricks to accommodate their growth. When they're ready for transplantation, you simply detach the coral from the brick and reuse the brick. So those are coral nurseries on land. There are also coral nurseries in the sea. If you remember, sedimentation is a problem. And so we have had to design nursery tables that can withstand the problem of high sedimentation. And what do we use to stock these nurseries? We use what is known as corals opportunity, which are your loose fragments lying around that might otherwise die. So might as well give them a chance. So 3 or 4 years into the transplantation project of this particular project, we were proud parents. We noticed that our corals were gravid and were able to spawn. And this was good news because it meant that they could contribute genetic material to seed the surrounding areas. And so we have done all that. Our next big venture is, of course, as you know, the 100K Coral Initiative. This is based off the past 3 decades of coral reef research and restoration efforts. We know what works, what doesn't work, and now we have the confidence to go even bigger. And so the plan is to put out 100,000 corals in Singapore over the next 10 years and beyond to increase coral cover and increase resilience. And so with support from Delta, we were able to get some seed funding to renovate a part of the SJI NML facility to build 7 tanks to do more vertical farming of corals. Once they grow big enough, we'll of course transplant them to certain sites. We have started transplanting them already to the Sisters Island Marine Park. And if you happen to be there and you walk along the floating boardwalk, you might see some of the corals there. Just to quickly conclude, restoration is relevant for Singapore. It's necessary to mitigate impacts. Previously, we used to just do restoration to restore degraded reefs, but now we realize that it's important to create new reefs so that we can meet the changing conditions that are predicted. And so I'd like to thank these organizations for supporting our recent work and thank all of you for listening.